Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about the final quarter of 2023 of 2023. That is 2023 winter, and we're going to talk about the 4 events that happened in 2023 winter. The present history of Dungeons and Dragons for this year. We're taking a look holistically at the entire year of Dungeons and Dragons. And I discovered a pattern that every single season of literal season, spring, summer, fall, winter, every single season for Dungeons and Dragons, 4 specific event types occur. What are those types? It's canon, crisis, media, and instance. So let's talk about 2023 winter for Dungeons and Dragons. So what was the canon hardback event? So each Dungeons and Dragons canon hardback is an event. Literally thousands of articles, thousands of reviews, thousands of commentaries on every social media platform that exists, right? And it's pretty incredible, right? So it was Planescape, Adventures in the Multiverse, the restoration of a massively beloved Dungeons and Dragons setting, a pretty brutal insult to Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, because Radiant Citadel was literally a kinder, more gentle Planescape, which was quickly forgotten after it was released, and Planescape will bury that thing even deeper, which is kind of sad. But that was the canon hardback event for Dungeons and Dragons, right? What was the crisis? There was a very real crisis. Now, 2023 winter was not supposed to have 1 Dungeons and Dragons canon hardback. It was supposed to have 2, right? What was the other D&D canon hardback that you should have in your grubby little mitts right now that you don't? That was the Book of Many Things, which contained the Deck of Many Things, and that had to be scrapped. I think there was a pretty significant print run that had to be shelved and either thrown away, or it could be sitting in some landfill right now. Oh, and guess what? When Hasbro throws out content that is not, fit to reach the masses, it makes the news, because every single thing Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast does makes the news, right? Because we are incredibly passionate about Dungeons and Dragons, right? So here's what's happening, and it's interesting. Hasbro, I think, brings more attention to Dungeons and Dragons than any product they have. It's really wild, and the reason why is I think there's no community is as passionate about the product as we are, as Dungeon Masters are, and it's really something very significant. Also, none of the other communities are like us. Like, every Dungeon Master is super charismatic, super confident, and super intelligent. If you're not those things, you can't Dungeon Master, and you won't be doing it long, right? And so, it's a very unique community, right? So this was a crisis, and basically the Deck of Many Things, the cards were printed at different sizes, and literally, to my knowledge, like thousands of them had to be scrapped, and they're reprinting them all right now, and they missed their release date. So this was the crisis of, and of course, right, Hasbro comes out and says, hey, there's a quality issue, and we sent it to early reviewers, and they gave us the feedback, and this is not fit for public consumption, right? But of course, everybody, just castigated Hasbro and piled on, the Wizards of the Coast, even as they simply did quality control that, frankly, other companies didn't do, right? Like, they're literally tell me if I'm wrong. I'm remembering specifically that MCDM actually, sent people stickers to sticker up their books, rather than do a recall, right? Like a company that put on their good big girl pants. It's pretty incredible. Please correct me if I'm not right on that, but I think I am. We'll see. That's my memory, right? So pretty incredible, truly incredible. So basically, you have this, so we had the crisis, right? And it really is just absolutely incredible, when you look at these different events that are happening for Dungeons and Dragons, just the way all of this actually, folds out, right? And so what was the instance, right? So the instance was that Mackenzie DeArmas actually announced that she was launching the first autistic character in the history of Dungeons and Dragons, right? And making a Dungeons and Dragons canon character who was in the lore who was autistic, right? So this was the instance that occurred for um, for Dungeons and Dragons. Um, and oh yes, and I almost forgot it. Glad I didn't. The media. What was the media that came out for this season? The Dungeons and Dragons streaming channel, right? So unlike any OSR in the history of tabletop role-playing in 50 years, no other competitor, no OSR competitor, no indie competitor has ever been able to do their own channel of content filled with just material covering their game, right? And so in this season, Dungeons and Dragons had a media success, which was the amazing, wonderful launch of the Dungeons and Dragons channel. And in 2024, we will have a streaming channel, right, which will have put content in many, many different places, that will give us nonstop 24-hour a day coverage of Dungeons and Dragons, which is truly, truly astounding. So that's the pattern. It's canon, it's crisis, it's media, it's instance. 4 types of events happen in every single season for Dungeons and Dragons. And I believe not only has it, and now I don't think this has always been the case, but I think in the modern day, Dungeons and Dragons has so much momentum that this is, and we will see exactly the same patterns repeated every single season in 2024. That is my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.